Hi everybody. This is part 2 of the tutorials on VMware Player. In this part I will talk about setup, both as far as VMware Player is concerned and as far as the system is concerned. So let's first see what we did last time though. In part 1 we created our virtual machine on the external SSD that is up here together where I have all my virtual system, and this is the one we created, 10 test. Remember that? And how big is 10 test? It is 6.58 gigabyte. So that's the size of 10 test. And I told you it's going to be somewhere between 5 and 7 gigabytes because that's a naked starter system if you want. So there's no programs installed, there's no settings made, no nothing. So that's what we have right now to work with. Before we start this one, I would like to show you though something that is possible, as I said, moving the um, VMware Player folder someplace else. And what I did, let's go to Documents. What I did, I moved it to my Documents, uh, which is in my internal disk, of course. These are documents on my internal disk. These are down here. These are all documents that are on another disk, but that doesn't matter. This is on my OS disk. So here we have 10 tests also. So let's first look how we would start this one, because that is not known to VMware Player. The only one that's known is the one that we installed last time, which is this one. Okay, if it's not known, you have to open it. There, you go to open a virtual machine, and then it goes to the VMX file. Now here it is in the VMX file because I've played around with it before. Let's just go to Documents and start from scratch here. Virtual partition, that's where it was, and that's 10 tests, and if you double click on it you get to the VMX file, and that VMX file you open, double click, and now it is known. Now of course we have two 10 tests. We have the one that we installed in the first tutorial, and we have the one that we just opened. Let's just play that for a minute because there's something I wanted to show you. Because the first thing that comes up is asks you, this virtual machine might have been moved or copied. Well, of course it was copied. So if it was copied, you say I copied it, if it was copied on the same machine. If it was moved to a different machine, you say I moved it. I suspect this is because it may have to make some adjustments for the hardware. But here we copied it, and that's all you need to do. To say, and then it will actually start this machine, and let's just see, and comes up with the splash screen here. Okay, this one we will stop right here, and we will power it off. In the process we lose our VMware Player, but that's no big problem. We go back here. I have all my programs and websites and everything here in a toolbar. Here's VMware Player, and it's right back. Okay, as I said, we have two now. The last one is the last one we dealt with, which is the one on the OS disk, and that one we don't really want to have anymore, so we remove that because we are going to deal with the one we created on the external SSD, which is this one. So let's start this one. We play virtual machine. Okay, and as you can see, it starts about as fast as it did start from the internal disk, which is my OS disk. Okay, uh, maybe we want to open this first here, and I have to put my password in. Uh, okay, and then we will get to our desktop. Great. There is up here a toolbar or taskbar of VMware Player. Two things I want to point out here. You can go here, and you should do that, and go to Manage and install the VMware tools. Now, this is a Windows 10 beta system, and VMware Player has not yet been updated with VMware tools for Windows 10. But if you have 8.1, 7, Vista, XP, or any other system that is lower than 10, you would have VMware tools and you can install them. The VMware tools are insofar important as it allows you to share the clipboard. For example, if you want to bring data from your host system into the virtual system, you just copy it in the host system and then paste it in the virtual system. So that's very convenient. I'll show you that in part 3 of this tutorial, and there we will be using 8.1 where that is working. Another thing is this icon up here. This icon allows you to go into full screen VMware only, which means you do not have the access to the taskbar, which is down here, of your host system. You'll be only in the VMware system, in the virtual system. So that is full screen now, and you're only in your virtual system. This little toolbar disappears up front, up top here, and if you kick this up here, then you get it back, and you can again click on this icon, and you're again in what I call dual mode, virtual and host. Okay, the first thing I would like to do in the settings, there's only 3 things I'd like to do in the settings, is to automate the login, that I don't have to put my password in all the time. And for that we go to the start screening. In this case I have the 8.1 start screen because I prefer that over the 10 start screen. And you put in netplwiz, net P-L-W-I-Z, and hit enter. And there you get a little window here. It says user must enter a username and a password. Well, I don't want to do that each time. And by the way, I do it for myself, for the administrator. So I highlight that, and I uncheck that and apply that. Well, of course it wants to know who I am, so I have to put my password in, and in fact I have to put it in twice. Now we shouldn't be bothered anymore with any okay, here first and then okay. We shouldn't be bothered anymore with passwords. In fact, let's check that right now. Let's do a quick restart and do a quick restart. It's relatively fast, but after all, that's a virtual machine from an external SSD, and for that it is amazingly fast to restart. Okay, see, now it logs me in automatically. Don't have to do anything. Okay, that's a useful setting. netplwiz, netplwiz is the command. Another one, of course, the screen is rather small, so we want to go to the control panel. Control panel is here. By the way, you get all those when you right click on the start icon here. You get practically all the control things that you're used to, like in Windows 7 or so. Control panel, to hardware and sound, and on display adjust the screen resolution. Okay, adjust the screen resolution. Right now it's 1024 by 768. Well, oops, lost it. I have to go with something that is times 900 because else it will not show the taskbar. And this is a 22-inch screen. Oops, now we lost it again. Why did we lose it? 1440 by 900. Come on. Okay, and we apply that. Okay, now keeps change. Yes, we want to keep change, and so we want to keep this one here, and then we have to um, okay this, and then we go to something else here on the display, which I like to do, make the letters larger. Because I don't see very well, so I would like to have a 125 dpi, and apply this, and there I have to sign out, and in sign out that my automation that I just did doesn't work. It only works on restart and on boot. So here, oh, I don't know why it doesn't work on sign out. Um, Here they're still bothering, but sign out you don't do too often, so that's not too bad. Okay, here we are. So we have a nice screen now. By the way, when you go maximum here, you get a little more. And once you have the tools installed, if they are available for 10, then it will be a full screen. So for the time being, this is the biggest I can get, because else the taskbar here, that would disappear behind the taskbar of the system. I guess you could hide the system taskbar, but that may not be very convenient. Um, so this is what I wanted to tell you for setup. So remember, you can go in virtual mode only, and then you have the full screen. The advantage to that is, for example, let's say you open something. The red X, you have only one red X. Uh, if you are in in the dual mode, as I call it, where the host is visible, and you open that, you have that red X and you have the red X up here. And since we always used to go to the highest red X, you very often click this one, and then it says, do you want to suspend power off? Well, I don't want to suspend or power off, so we have to cancel that, of course. Uh, so this is a advantage if you're working all day in your virtual system. You just make it exclusive and don't go to the host system. But if you want your host system around because you want to do certain things with the host system, then you have to do that, because then your host system facilities, your host start, and what have you, or like in my case, my sidebar here, um, my my dock here is available, etc., etc. So that depends how you want to operate. Okay, we'll leave it at that, and we'll then proceed with part 3, where I will show you the operation between the host and the virtual system.